Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Ralph Spears. I'm part of the CSI team dealing with the Investment Challenge game, and I'll be talking to you about, is your trading strategy profitable? The disclaimer, please note that none of this is advice for you to go and personally trade. This is purely for the Investment Challenge game only for schools and universities. I cannot give you any advice other than helping you and assisting you with the actual game that you're participating in. So it's going to be a very short presentation today. I have a few slides over here today, and I'm going to just help you to look and see, is this your system that you're currently using, is it profitable? Now, you as a team need to first work out what actual method are you using currently, and it could be discretionary or rules-based. Now, discretionary trader uses a method of entry and exit that relies on subjective criteria. For example, a trader who is basing their trading decision on fundamentals is a discretionary trader. Because why? For example, you could be saying we want to invest in a company that's got good management, or we wanting to look at the PE ratios and have anywhere between 5 and 10 PE ratio. Or a technical trader could also be a discretionary trader where they'll look at the chart, and depending on how the chart looks, they will decide whether they want to enter or not. But it'll all be about the look and feel of the actual chart. The second option, and some people use this, is rules-based. Now, a system trader really could be referred to as a mechanical trader. The system trader uses a fixed set of rules to determine when or where to enter and exit a trade. The rules and interpretation of the rules are black and white to keep the emotions out of the decision making. So that is really hard and fast rules, and that is how a system trader trades. Now, you as a team, it's probably the easiest to work out, is your team profitable, your system profitable, based on a system trader, because they've got fixed hard and fast rules. But you can also obviously try and measure your discretionary trading, but you would need to try and see if you can quantify it and have rules around it so that it can be measurable. For you to work out, is your trading strategy profitable, the team clearly needs to define the strategy. Know when you enter a trade and when you exit a trade. Collect all your transactional history, and you can go onto the website, and I'm going to show you where you can find all your buys and sells. Only measure the period in which you use the same criteria. Here's an example of a system testing results that a system was tested. Now, there are many different things that you can look at to see, how is my system doing? How much money am I making? Is it profitable? The length of trades, the average length of the trade, the longest trade, the shortest trade. There are many different criteria that you can actually work out on your system, and it can help you understand whether this is a profitable system or not. We're going to keep it simple, look at just a few. But before we do that, where do you find your transactional history? You click on trade, then transaction history, and you're able to find your buys and your sells by clicking on buy, search transactions and click buy, and you'll find all your buy orders, and you can go and click on all your sell orders. This is including your brokerage fees, so it's gross, and you can then use that figures to work out whether you made profit or loss, and I'm going to show you in a few seconds. Some of the many figures to keep track of. Number one, gross profit. It is the sum of the profits of all your profitable trades. So all your profitable trades, you put them together, what is the sum of that? From the start of the game until currently. Your losses, the sum of all your losses of the losing trades. So all the positions that you lost money on, add them up. And then currently, if you've got positions in the market, your portfolio is open, you still got trades in the market that you haven't closed, you work out that value. Okay, is it a profit or loss based on all the trades put together that you currently open? Then You have the difference between your gross profit and your gross loss, including those open positions, and you'll have a net profit. That difference is the net profit. Now, that's an important figure. It's positive. Your strategy is making money, right? However, there are other things that you can look at, like the number of winning trades. Count the number of winning trades you've had. Count the number of losing trades you've had. You will see by you getting these figures, you can count the total number of trades that you've done. Why is this important? Well, there are different formulas you can use with those figures. Also look at the largest losing trade. Check that your biggest losing trade in rands from the start of the competition to now. Check your largest winning trade, okay, from the start until now. Which trade made you the most money? Why would you want to know this? Well, if your largest winning trade is more than 50% of your total profit, then are you able to replicate that? Maybe you should be extracting that largest winning trade, because in reality you're not going to necessarily be able to do that again, and therefore you should be basing your actual stats without that largest winning trade. Percentage profitable, the number of winning trades divided by the total number of trades. This is a very interesting percentage. So how profitable is your strategy? How often? So is it 30% of the time? Is it 50% of the time? And we'll look at another slide on that in the next page. The average trade, this is a very important number. It's the total number of net profit, so your total net profit divided by the number of total trades. That figure needs to be profitable, and as profitable as much as it can be. Depending on what your system does, you need to have a positive number there. If it's a negative number there, you're going to go and have to relook at your system and say, what can I do to improve my system to make that profitable? Okay, so your average trades need to be profitable and as big as possible. Ideally, you need to be testing this thing over a 2 to 3 year period, or at least have 40 to 60 trades for this to be a realistic number, and for you to actually use these figures and say, yes, these figures are accurate. But we've only got this game for a 6-month period, and so therefore it's difficult for you to say this is an exact figure, because depending on how many trades you've done, and it's only for the past 5 or 6 months. You can have a strategy that works 30% of the time. For example, trend following works between 30 and 45% of the time. That's system. Or you could have a strategy that works 70% of the time, and that's remarkable. Okay, they can be both profitable. You can have a system at 30%, and yes, you can still make money, because when you make your losses, you cut them small and let your profits run. So just because your percentage is not huge and it's like 40%, 50% of the time you're making money, does not mean that it's a negative system, because why? You can let your profits run. My final thoughts for today: keep a journal of all your trades, so that if you need to improve your system, and that's based on your testing, you've seen, okay, fine, the system is not making as much profit as I wanted to, you can go back to your journal and see, why did I enter these trades? Why did I exit? What am I doing right or wrong that I can correct that is going to improve my result? Be consistent with your trading strategy. By chopping and changing each time you trade, it's not going to help you in building a consistent, profitable strategy, and it's difficult then to be able to measure it correctly. And remember, there is no perfect strategy. Define your plan and stick to it. That's it for today. Please remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure you're part of that. The links are there. And this is the contact details.